May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be ever mindful of thee, O Lord, my strength and my salvation. Amen. Would you please be seated? I'm going to do things a little differently today. I'm really excited. I was thinking of this passage from the book of Deuteronomy, and I thought I'd preach on this. Moses was 120 years old when he died. His sight was unimpaired and his vigor had not abated. That means we can count on you to cut the grass for 60 more years. We've got you down on that. But we're going to start with a presentation. Sandy Torres is going to give a little presentation on stewardship.
Good morning. Good morning. To me, pledging is like a gym membership. It is my commitment to better myself. Sometimes I don't always have the drive to get up on a Sunday morning after a long week of work. But the commitment that I made to the Shepherd of the Hills is what motivates me, and I always feel inspired and energized when I leave. The same way I feel after a workout. Just like there are many different gyms to choose from, there are even more churches. The reason that I chose to be a member of Shepherd of the Hills is because of the inviting atmosphere. There is something about an invitation that warms the heart. It means that someone wants you to be a part of something special. I serve on various committees that I was invited to join, but behind me sits a visual reminder of the most life-changing committee that I serve on. When I was asked to join Flower Guild, I could have easily used my newborn daughter Kylie as an acceptable excuse to say no, but that personal invite made me want to join. Never would I have known that accepting that invite from Kim would lead to the most important invite that a new mother could hope for. Kim and Marco invited Kylie into their home to watch while my husband and I worked full-time. The peace of mind knowing that my baby girl is safe and loved is the greatest gift that joining this church has given me. None of this would have been possible if I had not been welcomed with open arms when I first walked in the door, single and new to the area. Now I am married with a toddler, and the members of this church have been with me each step of the way. I can't wait to see what the future holds and pledge my continued membership to Shepherd of the Hills. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Last night we had Bob Ratcliffe give a presentation, and and I went first. And after it was over, Bob said, "George, you stepped on all my lines." So I thought I'd let Sandy go first, because essentially, we're going to be talking about the same things. I'm going to preach to you from our gospel this morning. And sometimes you hear words in the Bible and words in church, and they just sort of go through your head, because you've heard them so many times. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and love your neighbors yourself. In fact, I think I've already said it at the 8 o'clock Right One service. That's part of the words that I said at the beginning of the service. But what does it really mean? What's it all about? Jesus, let's look at this. When the Pharisees heard that Jesus had silenced the Sadducees, they gathered together, and one of them a lawyer. You know, it's always going to be a lawyer. Jesus has been debating the Sadducees, the Pharisees, the Herodians, and they always send their best gun to take Jesus down. They want to embarrass him. They want to stick the knife into Jesus, and so they're sending a clever lawyer to trap Jesus. Jesus Christ, are you now, or have you ever been a member of the Communist Party? Are you now, or have you ever beaten your wife? Jesus Christ, tell us, which is the greatest commandment? Because, of course, they know the answer, don't you? They're numbered 1 to 10. They're in the movie. Don't you remember Charlton Heston held them up for all to see? I am the Lord your God, Lord of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. That's number 1. And of course, that was the answer they were wanting to get back from Jesus. But Jesus didn't pick any of the 10 commandments. He picked one from Deuteronomy, love the Lord your God with all your heart, heart, soul, and mind, and one from Leviticus, love your neighbor as yourself. And Jesus, for the first time in the Old Testament and New Testament, stuck the two together. Love the Lord your God and love your neighbor. This is revolutionary. This makes this whole system that the Pharisees had constructed obsolete. Because, we have gotten 1 through 623 down pat. We've just got a few more to go, and we will have all the commandments down properly. And look at you poor people who aren't as good as us. And Jesus Christ is turning that on its head and saying, you love your neighbor. Not your good, perfect neighbor who never parks on your lawn. You love the world. You love your neighbors yourself. And then on these two commandments, hang all the law of the prophets, hang everything else, loving your neighbor, loving people other than yourselves. Now Jesus lived this in his own person and his own life. And this is the message of the Christian faith. But friends, so often the church forgets this. This past week I went to the Diocesan Clergy Conference. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday down at a retreat center outside Oviedo, Florida, outside of Orlando. And I have to tell you, it's extraordinarily tedious. Because you get these professors who come and tell you things that are would have been mildly interesting 25 years ago when you were in college and thought you were as clever, but now have no real use in your life. And then we have all these how-to classes. And it's all predicated on, we're Episcopalians, we've been in genteel decline since the 1960s. And we're going to teach you how to manage decline. And we're given all these charts and graphs, and it's shown how everybody's doing. The Episcopal Diocese of Central Florida is doing better than most. We held our own. We only have been down 2% in the last 2 or 3 years. National Church is down 10%. Some dioceses are down 1/3. And here's the whole list of parishes. Last year, 37 declined, 37 grew, the rest stayed the same. And then I became the most unpopular man in the room. They have all the graphs and the charts, and only one parish, from the beginning of the chart, which starts in 2009, to today, has grown every single year. That's Shepherd of the Hills. 2009, we have grown 79% from that point. The last 3 years, we've grown 35%. We're on course this year to grow another 10% this year. And so all these classes on gimmicks of how to get people into your church, how to enliven your congregation, how to get people to volunteer. I'm thinking, oh man, this is dull, isn't this? My problem is we run out of parking. That's the problem we have in February, March, and April. There's no parking in this place. People have to park at the Indian Doctor across the street. We have so many people wanting to do stuff. We have so many ministries and activities. And it's not that 10% of the people do 90% of the work. We talked about money, a favorite Episcopal topic. And most congregations have held their own or declined in giving. But the average giving is pretty high. The average in the diocese is $3,500 per pledge unit. Now, it's not the median giving. Now, what does that mean? That's much lower. What it means is most parishes have 1 or 2 daddy warbucks. Most parishes have 1 or 2 people that give $25,000, $50,000, $100,000, and then everybody else chips in. Now, if you would like to be that person for Shepherd of the Hills, Michael Herman Smith and I are happy to speak to you. We will give you a reserved spot that we save for the bishop. It will be yours. We have a fairly low per capita giving based on other parishes, but we have the highest ratio of givers to membership of any parish. What does that mean? It means that the people are involved. I sit through these classes and I'm thinking, well, what is different about Shepherd of the Hills? It's not like somebody's built a 10,000 house development across the street. It's not like, because our neighbors on either end of Gulf to Lake over the past 9 years have fallen in half in size. It's not the area has changed. We are demographically just like every other congregation in this diocese. What's different about this? And I kept thinking about it. Well, what's different? Why are we so unepiscopal in the fact that we are growing, that we're happy, that we have all these things happening in our lives? Well, yesterday, Deacon Mike and Linda led a vestry retreat in the parish hall. And Linda is an attorney by training, and Mike is the CEO of Nature Coast EMS. And they have really quality management skills and analyses. They're consultants. We get them for free. And we had basically this, what you would do for a commercial corporation where you have the chief officers come in, what is your product, and how do you do this, and all this and that. And we went through all the exercises. What are your opportunities? What are your strengths? And we kept, we went through this, and Linda would put up these flip chart sheets on the walls after we filled them. And as we looked at it, we kept coming back to the same thing. It's the people. It's the people here. But demographically, we're no younger, we're no older. We're no whiter, we're no blacker. We're no, according to the statistics, we're no different from anybody else. Is it something in Citrus County water? I don't think so. I buy mine bottled from Publix. Well, let's look at the little things. 2 weeks ago, we had the Daughters of the King Assembly for the diocese. And the Daughters of the King is the women's fraternal organization. Our parish has the second largest chapter in the diocese. Folks, we're in Hooterville, really, on Conger. We're not one of the suburban parishes in Orlando with 1,000 people. We have the second largest chapter. We have the most generous chapter. The Diocese of Central Florida is a relatively middle-sized Episcopal diocese. We have about 20,000 members, give or take. Massachusetts and Texas have about 100,000 members. They're a lot bigger than we are. Texas has 400 parishes. Yet the Daughters of the King in Little Central Florida is bigger than the Daughters of the King in Texas or Massachusetts. We give more money. And it's not because we have all these investment bankers who've retired to Terra Vista. If any have, send them to me. Again, everybody doing their bit. The pennies turn into nickels and turn into dimes and turn into dollars. So we have, if you will, the outstanding Daughters of the King chapter. We're hitting above our weight. What's going on here? Well, as we went through this management exercise to identify strengths and weaknesses and opportunities and everything, we kept coming back to the fact that what makes this church different is that we operate sort of like Apple Computer. What are you talking about? Well, yes, we are Episcopalians, so most of our things are overpriced, and many of you think I'm overpaid, just like Apple. But we might put up this sort of schematic on the wall of a sort of series of concentric circles, ever-widening circles. On the outside circle, and Linda, correct me if I'm wrong, is the what. What do you do? Then a circle within that is how you do it. And the inner circle is why you do it. Most organizations start with the what. We make computers. Ours are really cheap in quality. And the why? Well, buy from us because we're nice people. Apple starts at the why. And they want to design machines They want to change your life. They want to make changes in the world. They want to be the cutting edge of technology. To be an Apple guy is like being a Harley-Davidson rider. You buy the bike because of the mystique and the aura and the brand, and then it's a great machine, and it's more expensive than a Honda or a Suzuki, but you are part of a community. Whereas everybody else goes from the outside in, Apple goes from the inside out. Now, how do we apply those management techniques to the life of the church? I know an Episcopal church that is a model of the what church? What do I mean by that? They are known as the church for fantastic music. They have the best choir. They have paid soloists. They have everything that you would want to have in a musical church. But they don't have anything else. And if you ask them, well, let's think about, no, we can't get past the what or the how, and we don't know why we do this. Our job is essentially to compete with public television as a cultural outlet. That's a what church. It gets fixated on what we do. There are churches that are what churches because all we do is social advocacy. We're out marching, we're out doing this, we're out doing that. Why are you doing this? Well, because we have the free time. And we've always done it that way. But why? The question is never asked. What's different about Shepherd of the Hills? Everything we do starts with the why, and the why is encapsulated in this commandment of Jesus. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. And every program flows from that. We have a superior musical ministry here. We aren't, we don't even pay Bill that much. He could get $100,000 a year if he wanted to at the cathedral. It's a bit of a drive, but it might be worth it. And the choir that we have, it's full. In a month's time, if you don't get your seat now, there are no more seats in the choir. Why? Because they sing and they bring music to the glory of God. It starts with the why. Why are we here as a choir? To celebrate the joy that is Jesus Christ. And we have been given these gifts and talents of music, and we bring them to the community. Why? Do we feed the homeless? Does John Bordeaux really have nothing better to do? On Saturday nights, they go and wait for Panera Bread to close so they can give him all the baked goods so that Mel and Karen and Elaine can repackage them early Sunday morning? I know the devil is at work in our parish, because as I get here ready to prepare for 8 o'clock, there are all these bakery goods in the hallway, and I'm not allowed to rummage through them. So I have learned how to survive temptation. But why do we do this? For love of neighbor. Sandy mentioned something. Just something simple, not a ministry, but just something that is not unusual. A member of our congregation cares for her baby while she works. It's not her grandchild. She's not getting any money for it. She does it out of love generated by the love of Christ. Folks, what do we really... there are half a dozen churches within 2 or 3 miles on this highway out here. You can pick any of them. And they're all decent. If they were awful, I wouldn't tell you, but still, they're all pretty good. But what is it about this place? We've had people thinking this is Good Shepherd Lutheran Church who stop in on a Sunday morning. And Bert will say, well, come on in anyway. And you know what? That's how we've gained members. Bert locks the door after them. They can't get in. Why? What did this meeting tell us? The how we do things and the what we do really is second level. We're a very flexible church. If we try a ministry, it doesn't work, we stop. And we deploy our assets. because we're here not to do feeding the homeless, playing music, doing this or that. We're here to love the Lord. And how that takes place differs according to each of the gifts and ministries we've been given. That's what's different about this church. Love is real. See, when I was growing up in the 60s and 70s, and I hear all this stuff about love in church, it really turned me off. Because love was the symbol of the counterculture, of the hippies, of all the things that I, as a masculine young guy who played football, really didn't want to be around. And then growing up and to be a young man, young love was, that was girls, wasn't it? I really had no conception of what this love that Jesus is talking about is. Love the Lord your God. Love your neighbor. And for Jesus Christ, that means sacrificing himself. Giving himself that ultimate sacrifice for the world. Satan offered Jesus all power, all money, all the things that he could possibly want when he took him up on top of the temple and tempted him 3 times. But Jesus chose the path that led inexorably to death on the cross. And he did so out of love. Friends, as we're just about to start our season, the snowbirds will come in November, December, and by January through May, this place is packed. You really have trouble finding a seat. Finding a place to park your car. The coffee runs out faster than we like. But why is that happening? Because God's love is placed in practice here. Each of us are called to that love to serve in a different way. Each of us are called to give of ourselves in a different way. But that commandment to love is not optional. If all you do is love the Lord with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and then stare at your navel and contemplate your own self and forget your neighbor, you're not fulfilling God's call on our lives. You have to, according to our Lord Jesus Christ, not George Conger, love your neighbor as yourself. That means service. Now that service will differ for each and every one of us. But it means making your life an instrument of building the kingdom. Friends, this is what I believe with all my heart. What the church, not just our church, but so many churches have forgotten, is that we're not institutions here to perpetuate the institution. We're here to change the world. Bring God's glory to the lost, the sick, the suffering, and the comfortable middle class. Anybody and everybody who needs to know Jesus Christ. It's not just my job. It's all of ours who are servants of the King. Amen. Friends, would you please stand and join